Well, we've got two Dans on the phone. It can only mean one thing. It's time for some TwoCerti. Hello, boys. How are we?
Yes, we're good. So
Hey,
smooth again with the introduction. How you doing?
See, I
brilliant.
work on them. I work hard on them. Right. Well, new song out. That's exciting. Do you want to talk us through it?
Yep, change with the weather. So again, well, not necessarily similar to the old stuff. Just when we release these singles, we want something kind of poppy and kind of more commercialized. But this one's got a bit of a twist to it. It's not just kind of a pop song. We got a little bit of hip hop in there, sprinkled a little bit of R&B in there, just a little bit of different stuff really, and trying to do something a bit different than the last one. So yeah, we're happy with it. Happy with how it sounds, and buzzing that you're obviously playing on the radio now as well.
We're loving it. We're loving it. I still remember the first time when we heard Out of This World, and I was like, who the hell are these guys? Like, it kind of felt like it came out of nowhere. The production, it was mad. I mean, the lyrics on it were brilliant as well. I was like, this is class. And it was like the best surprise, I think, of, because it was lockdown, I think you uploaded your tracks, wasn't it? I think it was pretty peak COVID.
Yeah.
It was a nice surprise considering all the madness that was going on. So it was nice. This is a lovely surprise as well. It's quality. It does feel like you have transitioned from what you were doing before, but there's an evolution there. You can see you sort of getting a bit more confident with what you're making, a bit more mature. Would you boys agree with that?
Yeah, I'd say so. That's a pretty active way to say it. So and that's what we're trying to achieve as well. So we're trying to achieve that with our sound, because we want to try and get more unique, but also trying to get a bit more understanding of what we want to do long term, which we're getting there now. I think we're getting there. You can hear it in the actual music as well. Oh,
this might be a bit of a deep question, but how do you kind of know how you're getting better? Like, do you just bounce off each other and you learn new things, you pick up new things? Like, is there a way you can tell that your music is improving every time you release?
Yeah, it's a good question. I think with our music and the way we do music, I think because we try to be as productive as possible and release as many things as we can in a short space of time. I think we almost don't have time to sit and reflect, and that sometimes can be a bit of a blessing, because it means next time we work on a track, we're always not necessarily comparing it to the last track, but considering what we've done prior and kind of working towards making that better, or making it something, like Dan said, that's more of a quote unquote TwoCerti sound, if that makes sense. So I think that's probably the biggest part of it. I think just being productive, staying busy. For example, at the minute we're finishing off the work on this last album. I think the last thing we want, not last album, next album, it's not gonna be the last album. But the last thing we want to do, is get to the end of that and then have a break, or just mess around. Or we want to get back in, make some more tunes, and just see what kind of naturally evolves from it. I think that's the best answer I can kind of give for that.
You have been so busy, both of you, as well. Like, is it just a case of just making music all the time? And do you have a case of, because I mean, you've released a lot of music in a short space of time, but is there also a whole back catalogue of stuff that will never see the light of day because you're just working on stuff all the time, and some stuff you love, some stuff maybe not so much?
I'm really glad you've asked that question. We have got about 100 songs in a folder, most of which will never see the light of day because they're just absolute trash.
harsh words. No, yeah.
To be fair though, saying that like normalizes it for other artists. Like they'll be listening to your stuff, being like, "Oh, this is class," and then you're saying that you are, in your words, producing trash. Like, people will feel confident from that, because I think it can really be disheartening, can't it, at the time when you make something you don't want it to see the light of day.
Definitely. There's no magic behind it. It's just hard work, and it's just like dedicating evenings. Like, I'm working a 9 to 5 at the minute, so I'm like trying my best to obviously be good in my job, improve, developing my job, and then coming back and thinking, right, let's get some tunes made, let's do that. And it's just hard work. It's like the 10,000 hour rule that people say. Like, it's about putting in those hours to make sure that whatever you're doing, whatever craft it is that you enjoy, you just get better at naturally. I think that happens the more, if you enjoy something, the more you're going to do it, and the more you're going to do it, the more you'll get better at it, and you have less of a what's the word? You're just a lot less harsh with yourself if you do something that you don't like, because you think, actually, I'm really enjoying this. I'll learn from it, and kind of work to make it better, if that makes sense. So hard work, and yeah, I mean, there's always going to be songs that fall by the wayside that you think, what the hell was that? Make something like, what was that? But it's good. I like that. It's you kind of learn from it. You think about it. It's a good thing.
I know you boys are obviously very close as well, and you mentioned that you're both quite busy with other things in life as well, and then you are working on tracks 24/7. How close recently have you boys been to killing each other?
Well, again, really good question. Usually, not at all. There are, however, moments where I would just like to take the microphone and like do things with it.
Violence.
Like,
Fire.
it's the same with me as well. Sometimes I just look at the things I've done. I'm just like, oh my god. Oh,
I always think the
but
way it works with Dan is like, because I've always said this, like Dan's the technical guy. Like if there's anything that needs to be looked at from a actual musical point of view, Dan knows everything about it. So if I come up with an idea and it's terrible, which it largely is, because all I'm doing is singing and rapping and writing lyrics. It's all I am. Like I'm not any sort of part of the production. Dan would be like, no, that doesn't work because X, Y, Z. Breaks down. I'm like, oh right, yeah, that doesn't work. But then 1 out of 10 of those times I come up with something and it'll be insane. I'll be like, Dan, I told you, this is what it is. Blah, blah, blah. So it's like, it bounces. That's what's good about
I
it.
hate that.
Yeah,
I hate to hear it.
yeah, it's terrible. Terrible, but true.
Do you know what I love? I love that you're sort of making music together and obviously very supportive, but there's also a bit of a competitive edge, it seems, there as well. I respect that a lot. It's nice.
It's good. Yeah, it's good.
What we'll do is we'll play the song right now, I think. I think it makes sense. Nice little breakaway. Do you want to introduce it for us? Obviously, this is the second time we're playing it on the show.
Yep. So this is our new song by TwoCerti, and it's Change with the Weather.
TwoCerti and Change with the Weather on BBC Introducing on BBC Radio Stoke, chatting to TwoCerti right now. I like the artist that you've got featured in that. Who is that you've brought on the track?
Very glad you said that because there is not a feature in that song, Lucas. It is me rapping, but on a very, very
Shut
yeah,
up.
100%. Yeah, 100%.
No.
Yeah,
That's not you.
That's what we were probably going to go into the next segue. That's like one of the things on the new album that I've been doing a lot more of is rapping and just trying to get more rap verses in, work on that craft. Because that's one of the hardest. Like, I feel like singing's difficult, getting the hooks in for singing is difficult, but actually writing bar for bar and writing so much for it and getting the tone right is probably one of those difficult things you can do in music. So I've been trying to get that a little bit better. So that is me. Yeah, and in conclusion, that is
fair play. Because I was like, oh, this person's sick, and I couldn't see a feature mentioned on it, so I wasn't sure. But that'll make sense now if it's yourself. That's it. Working on that though. I mean, obviously, as well as improving the sound that you boys have been doing, like that must take a lot of graft. Because listening to other artists that do rap music, I know how much what you touched on already. You make about 100 songs that you don't like, and there'll be 100 verses that they'll write that they don't use. So how have you managed to kind of perfect it? Is it just working on the craft?
Yeah, from a rap perspective, I'll let Dan answer again in like from the production perspective too, because that's obviously just as important as kind of what I write and what I do with that. But in terms of writing it as a rap verse, I think a lot of rap I've always felt is like metaphor driven or has to be kind of witty and have some sort of humor to it. You can write a song and it can be very simple and stripped back, but rap has to have, there has to be an intelligence to rap for it to be good, in my opinion. So I think it takes a lot longer to write. And that obviously does lead to verses where you're like, I'm not really sure about that or whatever. But when you get it right and you get into the groove of it, it's just brilliant. Like I love it. So yeah, I've enjoyed doing it. And then also like me and my friend who he doesn't do music, but we have a few people in our friendship group that kind of we like joking about and we like roasting a little bit. So we started doing like diss tracks against them, which is just hilarious. I can pick all these bad points about them that I don't like. And so that's in a weird way, it's probably kind of helped me. So it's a combination of taking it seriously, having fun with it. And then, yeah, Dan, like from the production element, what would you say in terms of like the rap stuff?
Well, production wise, yeah, it's just been one of those things where like I've looked back on music that I've made in the past, and it's just been like, well, I liked it back then, and now with my new ear that I've just like trained over the years, it's just I'll look back on it now. I'm like, I can nitpick. It's like it just doesn't hit as much now. And it's like I like to put a bit more emotion into the music nowadays, whereas before I just really wanted it to be commercial. I wanted it to be as poppy as possible. I want to try and make it mine now. I want it to be mine and like partly Dan's as well. And I always admire the rap and like the lyrics that come from Dan because it's something I can't really do that well. I try my best and I hope to get better in the future, but we just want to keep developing as artists and keep getting better so that we can make what would be quite a diverse, different song into something that could be potentially commercial.
That's it.
In the long run.
Does it make the production of it more fun for you as well because it's an added challenge? Because I don't know. I'm sure there is a difference when you're producing when you're adding a rap in there because it is obviously a different type of vocal than what you normally be used to.
Yeah, it's like it definitely is. It's really fun for me now, whereas it might not have been before. Sometimes it can be a bit tedious, just like constantly trying to find that sound that everyone else uses to make the same song that everyone else is listening to. But now, whenever Dan's in the room, it just makes the production so much better because I'll be there doing my thing, and then he'll be there gassing me up.
So
It just makes
we're nice to each other, really. We're nice to each
makes
other,
it.
really.
Yeah, it's quite a nice little bromance in the end. But you obviously, I can't remember this. With the first stuff you were releasing, like Out of This World, was that being done in two separate locations? And are you now in the same location for stuff?
So yeah, that's correct. We're now back. Obviously, with COVID and stuff, we weren't able to do it with the restrictions. So what we did was we bought a microphone, a little like controllery thing. I don't even know what it's called because Dan knows all the technical terms. I just use it and do my verses. But I'd record in my verses and my hooks and stuff like raw on there. Send down the raw files over, and he'd obviously get a mix and a master and everything done from home. So we were creating what we usually create in the studio together from two separate locations. And we still can do that, if needs must. But as of right now, yeah, we were able to go back in the studio, and it's just better. It's more organic. You can make an evening of it and have a couple drinks and stuff on the weekend, and it's just better. It's a better vibe. It's what it should be when you're making music with someone, especially your mate. You want to be able to do it together and make the memories like that, as opposed to do it on a call. As good as you can make it and as fun as you can make it, it's just not the same as being in the same room. So yeah,
Do you agree with that, Dan?
better say yes.
Absolutely. Yeah, I'll say we made good music in lockdown, but I think we're making better music now. So yeah,
I think you can definitely tell that you two are obviously having a bit more fun with it, because you can, like, with anything, with radio interviews, with most things. I don't think Zoom, as good as and useful as it has been, is the same as being face to face in the flesh with someone, because you just have that more natural way of bouncing off someone, don't you? And
Definitely.
I imagine that's what it's been for you boys.
Yeah, 100%. It'd be good as well if if we're doing any more interviews with you and stuff, whether we can do one in person stuff and get like a whole thing.
That'll
of
be
it.
the day.
Yeah,
That'll be the day.
That'll be the one. Even like doing this is better because we can see each other. It's more personable. It's just nice, like you said. I think it's nice to be able to, especially with what's gone on and everything. Just you appreciate those moments a little bit more. Again, not to get too deep, like you said earlier, but it's just better. Like I think everyone's just appreciating, being around people again, talking to people again. It's a real simple thing, but you take it for granted, I guess. So yeah, it's cool.
You're working on a lot of stuff, as you said. What is the plan now for the rest of 2021? And I can't believe that we've only got like 4 months left, but still, what are you going to be doing?
well, there's probably a good time to announce it. We've got 2 new singles coming out in the next month, and then after that, we're going to be dropping the next album, the next installment in the TwoCerti franchise.
That feels like an exclusive. Is that an exclusive you just dropped on?
I would
Beats and
argue that that's relatively exclusive. Yes.
Oh, lovely stuff. Thank you very much. Well, that's very exciting. So it's going to be busy times for you both then, I guess, over the next couple of weeks.
100%. And the next one is a pure rap song, nothing but rap, like 32 bars, boom, 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 everything there. And then the one after that's more R&B chilled. So it's, again, trying to have the variety in, but work on kind of those different sounds as we were kind of alluding to earlier on.
Do you think this next part of TwoCerti then is going to be the best way of showcasing your music to a wider audience, to other people, to really understand what you boys are doing?
I think so. Yeah. It's like just like after, I can't remember where like the turning point was. Now Dan started rapping again. He seems really comfortable with it, and it seems like it's just like it's developing now. It's becoming to a sound where he's doing his like hooks that are melodic, and now he's actually getting those like rap verses down, and it's starting to become him now, and that's really good. So yeah, I think this next installment is going to be a huge difference from the first one.
Boys, I can't wait to hear it. So if anyone wants to check you guys out, what you're doing online, they can sort of follow you, see when the stuff's coming out, follow the journey of TwoCerti, if you will. Where are we going for that? What we're doing? What we're looking for?
Let's start off on Spotify. That's where we've had a lot of our more success recently. Our streams are going up quite well and everything, so everything's going well there. So if you guys can check us out on Spotify or whatever your streaming platform is with TwoCerti, TWOCERTI. Check us out there. And then, yeah, on social media, we're not like crazy active because we're too busy making music to be active on it. But no, check us out on social media. Again, it's the same handle and stuff. So yeah, just check our music. Hopefully you like it.
Boys, thanks very much and congrats on the new single.
Thank you, man. Love it. Cheers, man.